Hello and welcome to a brand new season of Chicago This Week. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Nicole Herzog. Every week we'll bring you original reporting from around the city. We cover a bit of everything from politics and crime to sports and entertainment. Today we begin in the northern suburbs. A new ban went into effect in Evanston involving tobacco. Haley Samples is live downtown with that story. It's meant to keep people safer, but not everyone is happy about it. Right, Haley?
That's right, Nicole. While advocates are excited to see this new ban underway, business owners, not so much. Take a look. Welcome to the city of Evanston, where a new ban on the sale of flavored tobacco is now in place. A prohibition that tobacco retailer Asif Mahmood says is already impacting his business.
Just overnight, this thing happened and I lost half of my business.
Mahmood has been serving the Evanston community for over 25 years here at the intersection of Ridge and Howard. Over the years, he has sold gas, snacks, and flavored tobacco that customers specifically come in to purchase.
People are walking out, if they don't have their brand of cigarette, they don't want to buy anything else or gas, they just walk out.
Now, this new ordinance makes it illegal for businesses to sell any cigar wraps, vapes, and other flavored smoking devices. This also includes menthol cigarettes, all products of which Mahmood says made up for 50% of his sales.
Thank you.
This ordinance was created to discourage smoking due to long-term health impacts, specifically for the youth.
If you smoke tobacco, it puts you at risk for emphysema, COPD, chronic bronchitis. These are all kind of similar sides of the dice for a condition where tobacco has impacted your ability to breathe.
While this tobacco ordinance is a public health initiative, some locals feel like a ban on products isn't necessary.
Monitor it and see where it goes and then take it from there.
Thanks, Haley. Back here in the city of Chicago, Park District workers are fed up. They authorized a strike demanding higher wages and health benefits. They're taking their fight to the streets and to social media. Take a look.
I work for the Chicago Park District. Of course I'm overworked and underpaid.
That's Brianna Soria.
I've worked for the park for 22 years, and this is probably the worst I've ever seen it with the turnover.
The video she was featured in got over 26,000 views on TikTok, and she's one of many Chicago Park District employees sharing their frustrations with current working conditions.
Pay us!
Those concerns were brought to the forefront on March 27th when the Park District's labor union SEIU Local 73 marched at City Hall to deliver a petition to Mayor Brandon Johnson. Their main goals include competitive pay increases, a $20 minimum rate for those making minimum wage, and insurance for all. SEIU Executive Board member Joanne Baker says members of the union overwhelmingly voted to go on strike if their demands are not met through a bargaining process with the Park District.
Everything is going up around us. Insurance for your home, insurance for your cars, county taxes. All of these things are constantly going up, but your paycheck isn't.
Soria says retaining employees has been a struggle, making it harder to offer programs like swimming and dance lessons.
So we'll have bring somebody on, train them. 6 months later, they leave us due to another job or another situation that's going to offer them better pay.
The Park District responded to the demands in a statement after the protest, stating they've taken strides to provide a supportive workplace for their employees, adding, "We look forward to continuing good faith negotiations and arriving at an agreement in the very near future." For now, Baker says they're still struggling to reach that agreement.
We put a lot into our jobs. We all love working for the Chicago Park District, and we just need a little love back.
In recent months, several Park District structures around the city were used to house migrants. After endless complaints from residents, Mayor Brandon Johnson started clearing them out. Blanca Estrada is live downtown with more. Hi, Blanca.
Hi, Nicole. That's right. Migrants had just one rule: to be out by this Saturday.
Mayor Brandon Johnson announced the removal of 800 migrants from 5 Chicago Park Districts located in Gage Park, Edgewater, Avondale, Rogers Park, and Little Village. This announcement comes in time for summer programs to return to Chicago Park Districts. However, a few Chicagoans disagree with the announcement.
I really don't think we were prepared at all to help them. And now you can't just kick them out because we were willing to accept them.
City officials were under pressure from nearby residents to return the 5 field houses. The closure also comes as criticism of Johnson's migrant response has sharpened in both sides. Eugenio believes that people won't understand until they step into a migrant's shoes. Some Chicagoans also believe it was never the city's problem.
I think the federal government dropped the ball, and they put it on sanctuary cities like New York, Chicago.
Without an adequate place to sleep, a lot of migrants are returning to their native country. However, for a lot of them, they don't have a choice. So it means finding their own way to achieve the American dream. For Abraham, he believes migrants need a place to live because the situation is difficult. There are currently 20 other temporary shelters still operating in the city. As of right now, Chicago is enforcing a 60-day limit on shelter stays. In Chicago, Blanca Estrada, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Blanca. Moving on to the south side now, yet another neighborhood business announced it would be shutting its doors. This means an end to area jobs and services for residents to enjoy. Kennedy Hewitt joins us live now with the story. And this seems to be a growing trend, right, Kennedy?
That's right, Nicole. This is the 4th business to close within the last year in the 21st Ward, the 2nd business this year alone, and the neighbors are not happy about it.
Gym closures typically take away workout classes and fancy equipment, but this South Side community lost a lot more than that.
I feel devastated. I almost cried today.
The Esporta Fitness in Morgan Park announced a planned closure for April 1st, leaving longtime members in a state of shock.
I've been a member of this one club for the last 8 to 10 years.
I've been going here for about 2 years, and all the equipment here is upgraded.
I joined this club in 2010.
Diane Price Dennis joined this club when it was still under construction. For 14 years, she's walked with her husband to this gym. She says she's even watched her grandkids grow up in it.
And it was a part of my life.
For many residents, this closure took away a facility within walking distance. But the greatest loss of all,
this was a family.
The loss of community.
Gotten to know the crew a lot here. Our family is being split up.
Residents say they're confused why the gym is closing.
They don't give us any explanation as to why.
The gym, which is owned by LA Fitness, left this sign on the front door, which says that members will be granted access to other Esporta and LA Fitness locations throughout the state, meaning many members of this family are going their separate ways.
So you build a community here at this gym, and to know that community is now being broken up, it's very disheartening.
Reasons for the closure are still unknown to the public. Residents say they put out a petition fighting the closure that had over 1,000 signatures. They received no response from Esporta Fitness. In Morgan Park, I'm Kennedy Hewitt, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Kennedy. We have so much more coming up after the break. In sports, the Northwestern men's baseball team is hoping to turn things around from last year's disastrous season. Hear what the players are saying.
I was part of that senior group that kind of shifted the culture here. It is really awesome to think about.
It's good human beings with high morals and values that care about each other and play the game the right way.
We were at the Sox season opener. Fans are optimistic.
Forget about the naysayers. We're going all the way in the Central Division.
We love opening day. I got engaged on an opening day at the old ballpark, so it's a tradition for me and my wife.
So it's just a great feeling, you know, it's family.
And we're across town in Wrigleyville.
There's going to be about 40,000 people or more walking around the area, and if not going to the game, going to the bars, walking around, taking all in. It's one of the best days of the year.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back. We just wrapped up Women's History Month. Every year, March is set aside to honor women's contributions to history. One way is through literature. In our next story, reporter Taylor Anthony takes us to an event that's all about books. By women, about women, or simply for women. Hi, Taylor.
Hi, Nicole. That's right. And the incredible woman I spoke with at Semicolon Bookstore's event were quite passionate about the importance of this month and the representation of female authors in literature. Take a look.
As Women's History Month comes to an end, book lovers across the city gathered at the London House Hotel to support Semicolon Bookstore at the Publish Her Book Fair event.
It's really important to be a community pillar and really be actionable behind that. So bringing them in as a partnership was a huge favor for us.
And what better way to celebrate Women's History Month than when women authors?
Semicolon is the only Black woman-owned bookstore in Chicago. Founder Danielle Mullen says it's a place where there is a book for everyone.
Thank you. And we have all kinds, like RuPaul's book, that is a New York Times bestseller, and it is here. So we brought a little bit of everything. We brought all kinds of vibes for every type of person.
I love that it's Black owned. I love that she highlights Black books because I feel like that's something that's just not talked about enough.
The bookstore's mission is to help bridge the literacy gap in minoritized communities. Events like this help further their outreach to help fulfill their mission.
Oh, yes! I think it's important so that, people can know more about women authors and women of color authors, especially during this important month.
We just like to open ourselves up to different groups of people in different parts of town and make sure everybody knows us.
On April 27th, which is National Independent Bookstore Day, Semicolon will be reopening at its new location in East Garfield Park. In downtown Chicago, Taylor Anthony, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Taylor. Now it's time for Chicago This Week entertainment news. Here's Karina Wilson. She's talking all about Queen Bee.
Thanks, Nicole. While Chicago is not Texas, Beyoncé's making headlines here and across the globe from the release of her album Cowboy Carter. The superstar says the 27-track country album is the best music she's ever made. Its impact is definitely spreading here in the Windy City. Take a look.
Come on, baby, it's time to rock.
People are raving over Beyoncé's new album, Cowboy Carter, worldwide.
I have been listening to it on repeat.
The album is the 32-time Grammy winner's 9th studio album and her first country album, an homage to her home state of Texas.
This ain't Texas.
Last July, Soldier Field held over 90,000 Beehive members for her Renaissance World Tour. The tour featured Chicago native Chuck Roberts' vocals.
I was definitely humbled by that experience. I've had the privilege of working with, other people in the industry that are very accomplished as well, but the Queen Bee, that's the deal, right? That's the deal.
Roberts is nicknamed the voice of house music, and with his help, Beyoncé drew a new generation's attention to house music. Now, she's doing the same thing with country. Here in the Windy City, fans gathered at listening parties to hear the latest drop.
We had a line down the block for probably 3 or 4 hours, people waiting in the rain and cold just so they can be inside and experience it with other people.
The venue hosted a weekend full of events in honor of Cowboy Carter's release.
We've been kind of branding it the Beyoncé weekend, and we've had people like, I'll see you all Beyoncé weekend.
While Midwesterners might not identify as country, Beyoncé says this album isn't a country album, it's a Beyoncé album. In the Loop, Karina Wilson, Chicago This Week.
Break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
Strap in, sports fans. I'm Caleb Nixon, and we're about to hit the field with Chicago This Week Sports. We've got softball, boxing, volleyball, but we begin with, you guessed it, baseball. The city's professional teams both kicked off their brand new seasons, starting with the White Sox. Casey Clark-Malott was at the home opener. He's live now downtown with the story. How was it, Casey?
Well, Caleb, the weather on opening day was definitely better than today. With 33,420 fans in attendance, fans couldn't wait for opening day.
Anytime you get to opening day, spring's right around the corner. So it's, better days are ahead.
Opening day in Major League Baseball is a signal of warmer weather, the smell of hot dogs, and America's pastime of baseball. The White Sox opening day provides just that, with many extending their streaks of attending opening day.
This is probably my 12th opening day.
It's my 3rd year.
It's in the 30s.
48 years, baby!
Through the countless opening series in Bridgeport, fans have developed their own traditions. This includes Mackenzie Riffett, who moved to Tampa but still made it back to spend the day with her family at Wings and Rings.
This is like a tradition to come to this restaurant and then go to the Sox game. So it's just a great feeling, it's family.
For other fans like Dan Coletta, opening day brings back significant memories.
We love opening day. I got engaged on an opening day at the old ballpark, so it's a tradition for me and my wife, who grew up a Cubs fan, so we've converted her to Sox fans.
Many fans don't expect much from the season, but some are optimistic.
Forget about the naysayers. We're going all the way in the Central Division.
The White Sox were swept in their opening series to the Detroit Tigers. However, Riffett believes there's one major upside to Sox games.
If you're coming, you better be friendly, because everybody's friendly, I'd say.
From Bridgeport in Chicago, I'm Casey Clark-Malott, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Casey. I was lucky enough to be in Wrigleyville for the Cubs home opener. And let me tell you, folks, it was so exciting, especially for local businesses welcoming back their annual customers. Take a look. Baseball season is back.
There's going to be about 40,000 people or more walking around the area, and if not going to the game, going to the bars, walking around, taking all in. It's one of the best days of the year.
Wrigleyville businesses are excited to get more customers in their doors as the Cubs return to Wrigley Field.
Everybody is very passionate about the team, and I don't know, you have to be a Cubs fan in Wrigleyville during Cubs season. It's just not an option.
Sometimes it's just selling clothing, shirts and hats, but sometimes it's, being involved and watching the game and, crossing our fingers that they win, because the better they do, the better we do.
Smoke Daddy is right across the street from the venue, a restaurant that loves welcoming back Cubs fans each and every year.
Cubs fans are Cubs fans, and people come, every year, even if they come from out of town, right? They will come to see a Cubs game. We call them the zombie apocalypse, because since we're right next to the entrance, we see when everybody goes in, when everybody leaves, we just see a herd of people just coming right towards the restaurant, and they all get here at the same time. Just
ask the 25-year-old business. There is nothing quite like that herd of enthusiastic people returning to one of MLB's oldest ballparks.
It's just something about after 6 months, they're back. There's enthusiasm opening day.
Businesses aren't the only ones. Fans are just as excited to cheer on the 2024 Chicago Cubs. From the pros to the college level, the Northwestern Wildcats are looking to redeem themselves after a tough season last year. Our King Jemison is live now with that story. King, you talked to the coach and players. What did they have to say?
Thanks, Caleb. While they were understandably upset after a heartbreaking loss on Sunday, Northwestern baseball players are confident they have turned around the culture of this program. Keep watching to see why.
Northwestern baseball had its first series of Big Ten play last weekend in Evanston. Though the Wildcats lost all 3 games to Nebraska, their performance throughout the season shows how far they've come from a disastrous 2023 campaign.
It's good human beings with high morals and values that care about each other and play the game the right way. We need to execute a little bit better, but I'm proud of the way we've competed for the most part all season.
This is Greenspan's first season as head coach. Northwestern has already equaled its win total from a year ago.
I think last year we showed up to the park kind of expecting to lose, and I think this year there's the expectation that we're going to win, and we shouldn't be content with failure.
McClure pitched 2 scoreless innings on Sunday. Other standouts from the series include freshman right fielder Jackson Freeman and sophomore second baseman Owen McElpatrick, who combined for 4 home runs and 10 RBIs over the weekend.
I thought we competed well. I thought we hung in there all but 2 innings all weekend. So,
It's hard to not be upset right now, but I think we really are up there in the Big Ten right now.
As McElpatrick alluded to, Nebraska had a 7-run inning on Saturday and a 5-run inning on Sunday.
The big innings are killing us right now, the 7s, the 5s.
But outside of those big innings, Northwestern is developing an identity that can carry it through Big Ten play.
For us to be successful, it has to be strike throwers on the mound, making plays defensively and timely hits.
Being able to say like I was part of that senior group that kind of shifted the culture here is really awesome to think about.
Northwestern's next home series is April 12th through 14th against Maryland. In Evanston, I'm King Jemison for Chicago This Week.
Thanks, King. Moving now to softball. Our Sean Graney got to talk to DePaul's coach and the team. He's live with the latest. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Caleb. Yes. So the team has to wait a bit longer to keep the positive vibes rolling. Coach tells me that there's one simple message for the team as conference play begins. Be us.
Coming off their best win of the season, DePaul softball is looking to rewrite the narrative and stack some key home wins as conference play begins.
Coming into more home games this week, I think taking that game and using it as motivation for the next games and kind of confidence that we can put on that kind of performance.
This is our home turf. We need to keep being competitive, and coming up on ISU, we just really need to hone in again on the offense.
Checking in at 7-23 on the season, the Blue Demons have started the season slow, undergoing much change in the offseason, and know that they are a work in progress.
Just an understanding of the expectation isn't to do more than what we're capable of. The expectation is just to be us. And right now I feel like because we are pressing, because we're struggling, we're trying to do more than what we need to. And
we have a really good defense. It's been strong for a while, and we just really need to keep that up. But offensively, we really need to hone in on buying into what Coach K is telling us.
Confidence and execution are going to be key to success down the stretch of the season, and most importantly, in conference play.
One pitch at a time, one day at a time. Not try to do too much. Just come out, compete as much as we can.
The Blue Demons are looking to the leaders and veteran players on the team to help lead and keep the positive vibes rolling as tournament season nears.
Just again, pass the bat, figure out how to create some momentum, and again, just compete.
Thanks, Sean. Lastly, in college sports, Loyola University Chicago's men's volleyball team is trying to work their way into the NCAA Top 10, and they're so close. Mary Grace Grable talked to the team about the season thus far. Take a look.
Even though there's Division II teams that we're playing against, they're totally capable of beating us and beating anyone. So you gotta always be ready to bring your A game to every game.
In the United States, there are 28 Division I and 36 Division II men's volleyball teams according to the NCAA. However, in the city of Chicago, Loyola University is the lone Division I team.
It always feels good to be recognized on a national level, even with a few amount of teams, but being up there with USC's and UCLA's and Hawaii's and Long Beach's and schools that have been historically really good, I mean, it's super impressive.
This season, the Ramblers hold a 17-9 record and are currently ranked 11 in the country with their final regular season game scheduled for Saturday.
Everyone knows that the end of the season is close and that what we're playing for is really important, but it doesn't change how we play all season long.
I mean, there's definitely the pressure of the tournament coming up, so it feels like you're giving more, but I think dudes have been giving it their all season. So, I mean, I don't think the expectations are lower. Dudes are coming in with a different mindset. I mean, I think people have been grinding and playing hard all year, so I think it's just keeping on with that.
We're all very thankful to be here, and we take it very seriously. Just working hard for the guy next to you. I think that's what makes our program great.
Reporting from Chicago, I'm Mary Grace Grable, Chicago This Week.
Finally, we wrap things up with a boxing tournament, kids boxing. Jasmine Thomas is live with more on this program that uses sports to keep children out of trouble. Jasmine?
Thanks, Caleb. Chicago Park District is providing a constructive outlet for kids across the city. Here is more about how their boxing program is guiding kids in the right direction.
Chicago Park District held their annual boxing tournament in Washington Park this past Thursday. They have been able to provide a safe and effective outlet for the kids who need it most. According to health.gov, participating in sports is linked to less substance abuse, fewer risky behaviors, and reduced anxiety and depression. For parents, it is the perfect tool to guide their children in the right direction.
All this energy that these teens have built up or whatnot, and he gets to go to the gym and work all that out.
Training for boxing goes beyond staying in physical shape. Coaches say they notice improvements in mental discipline through boxing. These skills show to be transferable to their academics.
You have to study just like you train. You have tests just like you have sparring inside the gym.
Just like they're focused in the ring with the boxing, he comes home and he's focused with the homework.
Not only do fighters gain academically, they gain a mentor.
That was a goal of mine when I became a boxing coach, was not only to pass down the boxing knowledge that I had, but to help the kids. I mean, you know, some of these communities are pretty rough out here in the city. So, you know, to help them get out the streets and find their passion.
The impact of this boxing program stretches beyond the ring. Teamwork, discipline, and mentorship are the proven recipe to becoming champions in the ring and champions of their future.
He's very focused on himself and his, I believe, his future.
I've seen a lot of changes from, like I said, kids becoming CPDs, firefighters, graduating college. And that's what makes me smile the most, is just making sure that they get to that goal and they follow their dreams, and then they can retire early instead of working for all their life.
From Washington Park, Jasmine Thomas, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Jasmine, and thank you, Caleb. We wrap things up tonight with a quick history lesson on one of Chicago's favorite foods. Anaya Jones is live now to talk about deep dish pizza. Tell us about it, Anaya.
Thanks, Nicole. April 5th is no ordinary Friday. It's National Deep Dish Pizza Day. I spoke with local restaurants, Chicago residents, and tourists about their thoughts on deep dish and its importance within Chicago history.
Every single time I have it, it reminds me of home.
Home is Chicago, the birthplace of the original deep dish pizza, a style of pizza invented 81 years ago in this very building.
This was a bar, and it was called the Pelican Tap, and he would first start offering pizzas at the bar as like little mini pizzas. At some point they had a great idea, like, hey, we could make this business and start selling it.
Chicago-style deep dish takes an entirely different approach when it comes to cheese and toppings.
The glory of the deep dish is that it's a bread bowl, a beautiful, beautiful bread bowl, and you gotta put all of the best dish in there.
This differs from New York and Detroit-style pizza. New York style is thin crust pizza that's foldable. Detroit style has thicker crust and is known for its square shape. Tourists and residents debate on which style they believe is the best.
It's definitely New York.
Chicago, I would say Chicago.
I've tried pretty much every other type of pizza, and I just keep coming back to a classic Chicago deep dish pizza.
Popular spots for deep dish pizza in Chicago include Pizzeria Uno, Lou Malnati's, Pequod's, and Kitchen 17 for a vegan option. Celebrate National Deep Dish Pizza Day on April 5th with a slice of Chicago's culinary staple. In River North, Anaya Jones, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Anaya. That is all the time we have for today's show. We hope you enjoyed watching, and we look forward to bringing you more stories next week. Have a great night, everybody.